Well, that's awesome. So awesome to be able to be with you. My name's Chris Sonksen, and it's awesome to be able to be with you guys today. Thank you, Pastor Mitch. And I know this. I do a lot of traveling, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But I got to tell you right up front, the Bible says to give honor where honor is due. And I travel a lot. I know a lot of pastors, know a lot of people. You guys have an amazing pastor in Pastor Mitch. Would you do me a favor? Show him some honor and let him know how much you love him today. Come on. Yeah. Did I say that right? Okay, good. He told me to say it, so I had to follow the script. No, I'm just joking. Hey, I'm from Southern California. Don't hold that against me. I am the founding pastor of South Hills Church. We have 12 locations, and I don't do a lot of the day-to-day. I'm more wrapped up in Church Boom, and Church Boom has an initiative we do called Church Rescue, and we're going to talk about that at the end. I'm going to minister to you first, but basically it's this. America right now is closing 3 churches for every one that opens. Let me say that again. 3 churches close for every one that open. Right now, America is closing. You ready for this one? 200 churches per Sunday. Every week. That's how many are closing. And we decided a few years ago to do something about it, because how many know with me that, man, if lighthouses are going out, we got to do what we can to keep them open. The bride of Christ cannot die on our watch. And so that's what we've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years. I'll talk about that at the end. It's a heartbeat of mine, and we got pastors all across the nation doing that. But a little bit more about me. I've been married for 33 years, and to a beautiful Mexican woman. And she doesn't speak English, but that helps us get along. We really don't know what we're saying to each other. It's the secret of the marriage. No, beautiful Mexican woman. I call her my hot tamale, and she's just gorgeous. And then we have 2 amazing children, and then this third one. No, I'm totally playing. Can you imagine how rude that would be? And then we have 2 granddaughters, 5 and 2-year-old, and we have a 3-week-old grandson. And, oh, man. Grandparents, where are you at in the house? Come on, grandparents. Yeah, is it not the best thing on the planet? Way better than parenting. It's God's gift to you for you not killing your own kid. That's really what it is. I was holding my granddaughter recently, and my adult son says to me, "Dad, it's like you love her more." I said, "No, it's not like I do. I do." You had a good run. It's over for you. We are a baseball family, so let me dive into it. We're a baseball family. Mitch and I share a love for the Yankees. And anybody not like the Yankees here, raise your hand. All the non-Christians, go ahead. There you go. Well, we just have this thing that we like to win. 27 World Series, do whatever you want with that. But anyway, I love baseball. Matter of fact, my son and I have been to all 30 baseball stadiums, all Major League Baseball stadiums we've been to. When my son was born, my daughter came first. 1.5 years, 2 years later, my son comes, and he's born, and that's why we had 2 children. And I remember thinking, man, I want my son to play baseball. I played baseball all the way through. I want my son to play baseball. No one in our family is left-handed, but I thought, man, God, make him a left-hander. I remember praying it. God, make him a left-hander. Praying on my wife's womb. I'm like, make him a left-hander. And because, if you're a left-hander, that's a big deal in baseball. So anyway, he's born. By the time he's 2, 3, 4 years old, I can't tell if he's left-handed, right-handed. Because sometimes he eats with his left hand, sometimes he eats with his right hand. About 4 years old, I bought him his first glove, because the Bible says train a child in the ways they should go. And so I bought him a glove. And so, it took him out to the front yards. He's 4 years old, and I figured he's a right-hander like me, so he's got his glove, and I give him a little instructions, and I throw the tennis ball to him, and he hits off his glove. No big deal. Picks it up with his right hand. Stay with me now. Picks it up with his right hand and throws it like this. And I thought, oh, dear God, he can't play baseball. There's no way he's from us. And so then I threw it again. I could try it again, son. You got to go like this, and he throws it like this. And I yelled out to my wife, "There's been a mistake." And third time I throw it, it goes over his head. He throws his glove down, runs back, gets the ball, picks it up with his left hand. Before I could tell him, wrong hand, he fires the ball at me with his left hand. And that's when the clouds opened up and you could hear the angels. And it was a moment. So we got him playing baseball, 4 years old, 5-year-old. We live in Southern California, so we play year-round. 6 years old, 7 years old. By the time he's 7 years old, I've got him playing baseball year-round. He's getting pitching lessons. I even had a little tattoo put on his arm that said 401k. I was thinking about my retirement. And so he's playing baseball. He's 7 years old. We're doing baseball year-round. 7 years old, he comes home from school one day. I happen to be at home, which I'm normally not in the middle of the day, but I happen to be home. And he comes running through the door, and he's waving a flyer. Dad, 7 years old. Oh, well, can we sign up for this? All my friends are signing up. Can I sign up? Can I please sign up? All my friends. I said, well, let me see the flyer. You know, he wants to sign up for it. I look at it. It's a sign up for soccer. And I looked at my son, and I said, son, we don't do that in this house. We're Christians. And, so he begged me, and I'm like, okay, fine. We'll sign you up for soccer. So I signed it up for soccer. Now, it's opening day of soccer. If you've ever been to opening day for soccer or baseball, you know how it is. All the little kids take the picture, and then they take a group picture with a little banner of the name of their team. And so it's opening day for his soccer, okay? First time and last time he ever played soccer. And there's this soccer team, right? You got the Cougars and the Tigers and the Panthers and the Lions and the Jaguars. Then you get to our little team. My son's on a team called the Bumblebees. How do you have any confidence named the Bumblebees? I mean, and they were horrible. You know, I mean, I'm a positive person, but I mean, I was positive that they were bad. And so they were bad. But all year long, their soccer coach kept saying, protect your territory, if you're over here, protect your territory, if you're over here. If you're a goalie, protect your what? Come on, say it with me, protect your what? Always protect your territory. So he would say that all the time. Clearly they didn't, because they lost all the time. We got to the end of the season. Our record of the Bumblebees were 0-15. We had never won a game. The team we were playing in the last game was 15-0. They'd never lost a game. And I thought, this is going to be a disaster. And sure enough, it was. So we're playing against this other team. But there is this Mexican kid on the other team, little 7, 8-year-old. Every time he gets the ball, he scores every single time. And every time he gets the ball, the dad on the other side of the soccer field would yell out words in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, but he would yell out words in Spanish. Whatever he yelled out, that little boy would score. And I'm telling you, it was 2-0, 4-0, 12-0. When we got to halftime, it was 18-0. That's how bad we were losing. And the little Bumblebees came running in with their little wings all broken, you know, and they're like, and I love the coach. He's like, you kids are doing great. I'm like, what game are you watching? These kids are horrible. And of course, they had to get their Capri Suns and orange slices. And so so he gives them a little protect your territory, goes back out there, 20-0, 25-0. Every time the little Mexican gets the ball, the dad on the other side yells out words in Spanish, and he scores every time. The whistle blows, 2 minutes on the clock. About a minute left now. A minute goes by, they're kicking the ball every 1 minute on the clock. It comes right here. The ball comes right here. I'm standing there as a dad, and the ball comes right here. And here comes from the other team, the little Mexican, little Pele. And he comes, and he starts kicking the ball. Now watch this. 1 minute on the clock. The kid on the other team, the good one, he starts kicking the ball the wrong way. And the dad on the other side is yelling in Spanish. And I know he's got to be yelling, you're going the wrong way. I don't know why. This kid's been scoring the whole time, but he started going the wrong way. But the dad started yelling. I had to be, you're going the wrong way. And it occurred to me as the dad's yelling at him, this is our only chance to score. If this kid doesn't score for us, we're not going to get on the board. And so he comes over and he starts going the wrong way. The dad is yelling, but I don't want him to hear his dad yelling he's going the wrong way. So I run with the kid down the line. I'm like, in my only Spanish words I know, aquí, andale, just trying to get him to go. The whole time he's like, who's this guy with a big white head? And the whole time he scored, which was hilarious. The score was 29-1. Our team picked him up on their shoulders. He's totally confused, like, why are you so happy? The entire time, he kept yelling, help me out one more time, protect your... Okay, when you think about it, in sports, Football, protect your territory. Baseball, protect your territory. Basketball, soccer, whatever, hockey. You got to protect your territory. That's not only true in life, that's true just in physical war. When there's a war going on between two countries, let's get real. One country wants what the other country has, right? You have the money we want, you have the resources we want, you have the land we want. And so everything is a fight against territory. It always is. Now, that's not just true in the physical world of war. That's not only true in sports. That's also true in a spiritual war. There's always a battle for the territory. And it kind of looks like this. Put the territory up there if you could. Let's see it. First one coming up. Here we go. There it is. All right. Here's the territory. Now, every one of us have a territory. This is you, okay? You have relationships. All of us, we have relationships. Children, we have finances, career, marriage, spiritual life, whatever. We all have things inside of our territory. And there is this enemy who is always fighting to come and rip from your territory. There's a great story in Mark chapter 5. If you have a Bible, go there now. Mark chapter 5. If you don't have a Bible, next time at a hotel, get one. They're free. I steal them and then I rescue churches. I'm doing my part, folks. Mark chapter 5 is a phenomenal story. And if you will lean in for the next few minutes, like you've never leaned in at church before, if you'll take notes, and you probably have, some of you have never taken notes, if you will lean in, I promise you, this conversation between Jesus and this demon-possessed guy is an intense conversation that could change your life. Let's take a look at Mark chapter 5. Let's lean in. Here we go. They went across the lake to the region of the Gerasenes. When Jesus got out of, Mark 5:1, when Jesus got out of the boat, with the man with an impure spirit came from the tombs to meet him. This man lived in the tombs, and no one could bind him anymore, not even with a chain. For he had often chained hand and foot, but he tore the chains apart and broke the irons on his feet. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and in the hills, he would cry out and cut himself with the stones. Now, check this out. Think about what this would look like. Jesus is hanging out with the disciples. Okay, get that, how that would look like in your mind. Picture Mitch with hair, and then that's Jesus. I don't know where that came from, but I got to remember that for the second service. Then they float over to the other side. Jesus said, we got to go to the other side. They go over to a place called Gerasenes. As Jesus, think about what that would look like. Jesus getting out of the boat. Come on, go with me in the image. He's getting out of the boat. He's walking up the shore. It's usually up. He's walking up, and a demon-possessed man meets him. Folks, this is huge. Jesus and a demon-possessed man. This is the epitome of good versus evil. Netflix has nothing on this moment. This is an intense moment. Now check it out. All right, let's pick it up where we left off. Verse 6. When he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees in front of him. He shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? In God's name, don't torture me." Now, why do I stop there? Because right now, we're all probably thinking, Jesus is having a conversation with a demon-possessed man. But did you notice what the demon-possessed man called him? He said, the demon-possessed man fell down at Jesus and said, "You're Son of God, Son of the Most High God." The disciples at this point, stay with me, didn't even know he was the Son of God. How would this demon-possessed man, living in tombs, cutting himself, how would he know he's the Son of God? The man didn't know he was the Son of God. The demon inside of him knew he was the Son of God. Jesus is not having a conversation with a man. Jesus is having a conversation with a demon. This is huge. Now, let's keep going. I love this part. For Jesus had said to him, now picture this. Jesus says to him, come out of this man, you impure spirit. Probably it sounds like you just read it like Jesus said, "Come out of this man, you impure spirit." I doubt it was like that. Like it was intense. Come out, just kind of like it's this intense moment. This part cracks me up. You may not find the humor in it, but I like sarcasm. To me, this is hilarious. For Jesus said, "Come out of this man. Come out of this man." Can you see him kind of, "Come out of this man, you impure spirit"? Then Jesus says, "What's your name?" What an odd question. Like literally, "Come out of this impurity. Get out of there." What's your name? It's really odd. Why does he ask him his name? What's the point? Did Jesus not know his name? Of course he did. He knows everything. So why ask him? Because he wanted this church in 2025 to know the meaning behind the name, because there's so much more to it. Here it is. He says, then Jesus says, what is your name? As if he didn't know. And the man says, my name is, help me out, what's his name? He replied, for we are many. Now, if you're taking notes, legion is a Roman Empire term meaning 6,000 or more. So here's what he's saying. What is your name? And the demon says, we are legion because there's 6,000 of us in this man. 6,000. We'll get back to that in a moment. That's a big point. We'll get back to it in a moment. Okay? Then, pick it up for the last verse and the most important verse that we have that we need to look at. And he begged Jesus again and again not to send him out of the area. And another word for area would be what? Territory. Don't send him out of the area or out of the territory. Isn't this interesting? Stay with me on this. Jesus says to the man, he says to the demon, get out of there. What is your name? It's Legion. There's 6,000 of us in here. And then the demon says, okay, fine. I'll leave the man. But please let me stay in the territory. That's what he asked. Matter of fact, he begged him to stay in the territory. Here's the thing I want you to get. You might want to write this down, is that the enemy wasn't concerned with leaving the man. The enemy was concerned with leaving the territory. Think about that for a moment. He wasn't as concerned with leaving the man. He's concerned with leaving your territory. Now, what is your territory? Your marriage, your relationship with your kids, your grandkids, your great-grandkids, your money, your job, your spiritual life, your career. He says, okay, I'll leave the man. Fine. Because Jesus said, get out of the man. He goes, okay, great, I'll get out. But then he goes, but please, let me stay in the territory. The enemy was so concerned with leaving the territory. See, that's why some of us in here have kids that aren't serving God, because he's got part of your territory. Some of us have grandkids that aren't serving God because he's got part of your territory. Some of you finances are not going out that well because he's got part of your territory, or your marriage, or your spiritual life, or your emotional life, or your mental life, or your health, or whatever it may be. He's got part of the territory. And because he says, okay, I'll leave the man, but please let me stay. Help me out one more time. Let me stay in the what? Let me stay here. That's what he's always fighting for, the territory. I do a lot of traveling between Church Boom and all the different stuff that we have going on. And I do about 170, 180 flights a year. So I do a ton of flying. I do 170 to 180 flights a year, and I still don't like flying. I'm the one. My wife always cracks up when she travels with me. She's like, you're the most nervous on the flight, and you're always on a plane. And I am. Because have you ever thought about this? The last thing you see before you get on the plane is the word terminal. Who came up with that idea? Terminal, that's the word you're going to use? Think about that. It may as well say you're going to die. And so I get on a flight a while back, and I get on a Southwest flight. Now, Southwest, if you know anything about a Southwest flight, it is a free-for-all. There's no assigned seating. You get on there, and it's a cattle call. And so I'm one of the last to get on, meaning I have to sit in a middle seat, which I hate sitting in middle seats. But I'm like, okay, it's the only seat I got. So I find a middle seat. Now, stay with me in there. I got my little middle seat. I got no room. I got a little tray, and I'm just sitting there. Sitting next at the window is a lady that maybe is 100 pounds, an older lady, and she's reading a book. That's who you want to sit next to. Someone that's just small and reading a book. That's the ideal person. Then I'm in the middle, and sitting right on the aisle is this massive man. He's probably, I'm not kidding, 6'4", 6'5". His head's up here somewhere. And he's probably 300 pounds. Big old guy, looks like a linebacker. He's so big, he's bleeding into my area. I figure about $60 worth. So I was like, dude, you got Venmo? Because you owe me $60. And but he's sitting there, big old guy. Now, they're getting ready, closing up the bins, getting ready for the flight to take off. His phone rings. Stay with me. The big old massive linebacker next to me. I'm sitting in the middle. His phone rings. He picks it up, starts talking to somebody. The flight attendant comes by and said, sir, you got to get off the phone. He goes, yeah, I'll get off in a minute. Kind of rude, but whatever. She moved on. No big deal. She comes by a second time because now we're starting to back up. Right? We're doing the whole backup thing. And he's still on the plane. She goes, sir, you've got to get off the plane. He said, he put the phone down like this. He says, I'll get off when I'm ready. And I thought, oh, man, this is going to get good, you know. I grabbed the peanuts and got ready for the show, you know. Pulled out my phone because no one gets involved these days. We just video everything. And so then he stays on the phone. Now we're on the run. We're on the ramp. Like we're ready to take off. They're getting ready in a minute. He's still on the phone. She unbuckles, comes back to him. Sir, you've got to get off the phone now. And he puts the phone down and says, I'll get off when I want to, and started cussing her out. And saying every bad thing you could say to a woman that was disrespectful. He was just letting her have it. She was trying to defend herself, big old linebacker next to me, letting her have it. It was getting wild. And I turned around and I thought, someone's got to get involved. Someone bigger. Because I'm 5'11" and on my way down. And so finally I thought, okay, I got to get involved. So he's yelling at her, and it's all going on. His head's way up here. And I looked at him, and I finally just said this, exact words. I said, dude, can't you be nice? He looked down at me. It took like 20 seconds. And he goes, what did you say to me? And I said, do you have any ice? You have to be quick. You gotta move if you want to survive out there. And so he finally got out the phone, and we take off. Now, it was a rainy day that day, and so if you know anything about flying, here's how it goes. You go up, and it's kind of rainy, and you do one of these things, like this, you know, and you kind of, it's not crazy, but it's like, then you go through about 5 to 7 minutes of clouds. This is when you're trying to get through the cloud and then get above the cloud. It's weird. Once you're above the clouds, it's blue skies, and the clouds are below you. It's very weird. But you go like this, and you're going through the rain, then you start going through the clouds, and that's when turbulence goes nuts. We're going through the clouds like 5 to 7 minutes. And it's just shaking. I love this because people tighten their seatbelt because that'll make a difference. From 20,000 feet in the air, bam, no worries, I got the belt on, you know. So we're going through this turbulence, and I told you that I'm the worst on the flight. I am just literally losing my mind because it's bam, 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 and I just start yelling out, this is that, you know, just glory, hallelujah. I'm just yelling stuff out. And we're going through, and then, now, we get through 5 to 7 minutes. It's going like this, it's going like this, it's going like that, and all of a sudden, boom, you rise above the clouds, and the sky is blue, and there's peace and calm. Here's the reality. The enemy is always fighting for our territory, our grandchildren, our children, our job, our marriage, our relationships, our spiritual life, our mental health, our emotional health, and we fight through. You can do one of the two things. You can stay in there, you can land your plane, or you can fight through and go to the blue skies where there is peace and calm. That's what he calls us to. He always calls us to that. The enemy's gonna come out to the territory, but you gotta fight above and get to the blue sky. And here's the reality, you might wanna write this down. You cannot change what you choose to tolerate. You cannot change whatever you choose to tolerate. You can't tolerate things. You gotta say enough is enough. Now, let me go to the second thing I want to point out to you real quick. Here it is. Put it on the screen for me. The enemy doesn't just fight for where you are, he fights for where you're going. So first, we know that the enemy's not just so concerned about you, he's concerned about your territory, but he's not just, stay with me, he doesn't just fight you for where you are, he fights you for where you're going. Stay with me on this, okay? Not just the territory you have, the territory that he thinks you're going to have. That's what he fights for. Now, let's go back. He asked the demon, hey, what is your name? The demon says, my name is what? Anybody remember? Come on. Which means how many? Okay, stay with me. Just stay with me on the slide. Everybody stay with me. What was this man's potential that the demon thought, we got to put 6,000 in this one? What was he going to do? What book was he going to write? What difference was he going to make? I mean, if the guy wasn't going to do anything with his life, there was no threat of the future, why put 6,000 in one person? He always, the enemy, he's not only scared of our current territory and fighting for our current territory, he's frightened for all of us in here of our current territory. If you could catch a glimpse of your potential, I'm telling you, it will frighten him. He knows what you can do. He sees it. Think about that. When Jesus was born, Herod comes along, and the enemy orchestrates it, and they kill all the babies under 2 years old. Why? Because I think the enemy looked and thought, oh, I see what this Jesus can do, and I'm going to take care of that problem right now. Go to the Old Testament, Moses. Moses is born. Pharaoh, same thing. The enemy orchestrates with Pharaoh, kill the babies under the age 2. Why? Because I think the enemy looked and saw Moses and thought, oh, I know what this kid can do. I'm going to take him out right now. I think of Vivian, great friend. She was 15 years old, Vivian, and she was in juvenile hall and pregnant. Stop and think about that for a moment. 15 years old, juvenile hall, pregnant. Everybody, counselors, everybody's telling her, get rid of the baby. The people at the juvenile hall, get rid of the baby, abort the baby, abort, abort, abort. And they keep telling her to abort the baby, and she says no. She's 15 years old. She ends up having the baby. Ultimately gets out of juvenile hall, marries the man that got her pregnant. They're still married today. They named that little boy Hector. Hector is a pastor in Northern California, and he pastors a church of 1,500 people. Now, I gotta believe that the enemy was looking down in juvenile hall, looking at the womb of Vivian and saying, oh, I see what this boy's potential is, and I'm gonna take care of that problem right now. My own life, I was born in Long Beach, California. I was born at Long Beach Memorial Hospital, same place where Tiger Woods was born, but our financial outcomes are different. And so I was born there, and we moved a few years later. But when I was about 2 years old, I'm the youngest of 5 kids. There was a party across the street, a birthday party on a Saturday afternoon, and they had a built-in pool. And that was a big deal, I guess, on our block. I'm 2 years old. I don't remember anything. They're all in the backyard. My family's over there, a bunch of families that are all having a big old, hangout time in the backyard of this house across the street from ours. I'm 2 years old at the time. I don't remember any of it. But I'm sure I'm running around with diapers on at best. So there I am running around at 2 years old with diapers on, and we're all in the backyard. And then the ice cream man comes by, and you could hear the music. How many remember that? You remember that guy? He was half selling ice cream and half on drugs. You remember the guy. You want a snow cone, kids? And so the ice cream man comes by, and everybody runs out to the ice cream man. My mom went out this gate. My dad went out this gate, and everybody forgot the 2-year-old. The 2-year-old, me, while they're all there, I fell into the pool. I was laying at the bottom of the deep end of the pool, and one of my sisters came back, grabbed her towel, looked down, and saw me and jumped in and got me. Otherwise, I'm not here. Now, I don't think I'm any more special than you. I think we're all special in God. But I just wonder if the enemy was, I see what this little kid's going to do, and I'm going to take care of that problem right now. He's not just concerned about your current territory. He's concerned about your future territory. He sees what you could become. Okay, here's the deal. He sees the book you could write. He sees the business you could start that could finance this church and many others. He sees all of that. He knows what you could do. Have you ever thought about this? I think the enemy sees more potential in you than you see in yourself. He sees what you could do. And you might be thinking, well, I'm only 15 years old. And then someone else might be thinking, I'm 85 years old. God's not done with you. When he's done with you, you'll be dead. Until then, he's got a plan for your life. And here's what I've learned about God. If you go all in, he'll go all out. And some of you in here are still called to be pastors. Some of you in here are called to preach. Some of you in here are called to teach. Some of you in here are called to write books. Some of you in here are called build up businesses. But God's got things for our life. The enemy's not just concerned with our current territory. He is always concerned with our future territory. Always. Now, let's go back to the graphic. Put the graphic back up there for me if we could. Here's our graphic. We already talked about our territory. Remember that? These are all the things in our territory. Go to the next one for me. Check this out. Look at that. That's your present issue. Relationships, marriage, children. That's your current territory. We all have some of that in our circle. But what about your future territory? Your success. That's your future. Your business idea. That's your future. Your kingdom impact. That's your future. Your influence. That's your future. The book you're supposed to write, that's your future. The churches we're going to rescue here this morning, that's the future. He's not only concerned about your present territory, he's really concerned about your future territory because he sees what you could do. He sees what you could become. Now, what do we do with all of this? The answer is really simple. Put it up there. It's 2 simple words. Fight back. Come on now, I want you to say it, and I want you to say it with a little bit of strength. What do we got to do? We have to fight back. We cannot sit idly by and just go, oh man, I guess he's taking over my marriage and he's taking over my future. We got to fight back and just say, no, enemy, come on people, enemy, you get your hands off of my territory. And we begin to fight back. Now, how do we fight back when he's robbing our territory? 2 ways. It won't come on the screen. Write them down real quick. Number one, you fight back through your prayer life. You fight back through your prayer life. You don't know how to have a prayer life? Get one. If you don't know how to do that, talk to one of the staff. They'll help you. It's just spending time with God every day, just like I did early this morning. Every day without fail, I spend time with God. And because it's a prayer life. And I love my prayer life. God, here's my request. Here's what's going on in my life. And I love doing it this way. And I always say this at the end. I say, oh, enemy, by the way, I know you're listening in, you eavesdropper. Get your hands off of my territory, both now and in the future. And that's what we do. We do it through our prayer life. But you know how else we do it? We do it through, number two, how do we fight back? Prayer life and thought life. Listen to me. The battle is always right here. Isn't that true? Come on. Proverbs says that your life, my life, is shaped by our thoughts. When the enemy comes and robs us right here, it's always shaped by our thoughts. Several years ago, we had this one of the associate pastors. At that point, we had about 90 to 100 employees at the church. Large church, 12 campuses, blah, blah, blah. And associate pastor's like, I'm going to lose weight, and I want to see if any of the staff want to go into a competition and we'll lose weight. 30 of the staff signed up and like, we'll go into a 90-day competition, whoever can lose the most weight. And I signed up too. So he had a little meeting with the 90 employees, the associate pastor. All right, guys, for the next 90 days, we're going to see who loses the most weight. And I'm the lead pastor, but I'm sitting in the chair, and I'm like, what do we win? And then he goes, we don't win anything. I go, well, that's no fun. So I said, okay, how about us, all 30 of us? We all pitch in $50 each. Whoever loses the most weight in 90 days wins. Because that's what you want to do with your staff. You want to teach them to gamble. And so everybody throws in money. At the end of the 90 days, I came in third place. I didn't get any of the money, but I lost a lot of weight, and that was really cool. So at the end of 90 days, lost some weight and whatever. But I remember about halfway through, 6-7 weeks into it, I was losing weight like crazy. And I was so hungry. We had 5 morning services, Pastor Mitch. On the 4th morning service, I'm standing up there preaching, and I am so hungry. Everybody looks like a burrito. Praying over people, I just see a Dr. Pepper. I remember communion came by, and I got like 18 cups. I was so hungry. I'm like, have you ever heard this before when it comes to the diet world? You are what you eat. That's not only true physically, it's true spiritually. Whoever you allow to feed you, that's what you become. When the enemy comes and says, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you'll never make it, you don't have a future, you don't have a this, you don't have a that, I see everything you've done, you're not smart enough, whatever it is, and he comes and feeds, you are what you eat. You either accept it and become that, because the Bible says that our life is shaped by our thoughts, or you reject it. You're going to be fed fear, or you're going to be fed faith. You have to decide who's going to feed you. That's how we fight back personally. Now, if we went around this room, we could all say, here's my problem, here's my issue, here's my territory, here's what I'm going. We all have stuff going on in our life. But there is one territory that we all share. My territory is different than hers and different than yours. But our territory, we do have one territory that's the same. And that's the territory of the local church. The enemy is fighting big time for the local church. Closing 3 for every 1. About 5 years ago, we got together with some friends, some big pastors, and we all got together in Texas because, everything's big in Texas. And so we went there and met with all these 15 pastors 5 years ago, and I'm like, we've got to put a stop to this. We're closing more churches than we open. Something's got to happen. And so I showed them something like this. Put it on the screen for me. In 1980, you'll notice here in 1980, all the red dots kind of represent all the saturation of church. Did you know in the 60s and 70s, more people were joining the church than babies were being born? We were growing like crazy. But then, by the year 2000, we started losing more churches than we opened. Look how the red dots, how they just kind of got smaller. That's the saturation of churches in America. They got smaller. And then it jumped from closing 2 for every 1 to 3 for every 1. And now you move to 2000. The next one, if we could, 2020, just 5 years ago, it looked like this. Okay? Now, go to the next one if we could. 2035. That's 10 years from now. If we just keep going the rate we're going here in America, that's what it will look like. And let me tell you, it will not be the same America your kids or your grandkids will ever grow up in. They will not experience the same thing. They're not even experiencing it now. And it's only going to get worse. Now, we can sit back and go, the government's got to take care of that. That's baloney. It is the spiritual leaders and Christians of this nation that have got to stand up, keep lighthouses open so that people can find Christ. And so that we can begin to reach people like we've never done. So 5 years ago, we just decided, you know what we're going to do? We're going to find churches under 100, and we're going to help them. And we're going to coach them. We're going to put them in groups of 6 or 7, have Zoom calls with them, coach them, give them resources and finances, send them away on a retreat, and they don't have to pay a dime. We started that 5 years ago. We were thinking, it was funny because when I met with the guys, they're like, how are we going to pay for it? I'm like, I got no idea. But what if healthy churches help unhealthy churches? Doesn't that sound logical to you? And I was like, okay, that sounds good. And so we just started 5 years ago, putting like 5 churches into a group and then coaching them. These churches that were about to die, back up over 100, 125. We did that over and over and over again. Right now, and on any given month, we have 200 to 300 churches in the program. We are helping to make sure that America's churches don't shut down. And all we've been doing is partnering with healthy pastors like Pastor Mitch and going, let's all finance this. But hear me, no money goes to admin. None. We don't take a dime. All we do is take the money and keep more churches open, because the bride of Christ is in the emergency room, and it's our job to get it out. Am I right? Revelation requires responsibility. If you know about a problem, you got to do something about the problem. That's what we've been doing. So that's what we're doing. You're going to have an opportunity to help us in just a moment. But before we do, I want to show you something real quick. Matter of fact, real quick, if you have your cell phone with you, take that out. That's the thing you've been acting like you're taking notes on, but you're texting. Put that up there for me if we could, that QR code. I want to give you a free book. It's a free book. It's 11 stories from 11 different pastors that have been rescued. We call it Church Rescue. Church Boom is the organization. Church Rescue is the initiative. And we call it Church Rescue. And we're rescuing churches across America. It's digital copy. You can get a hard copy. That'll cost you a few bucks, but the digital is absolutely free. Get that. Make sure that you help us rescue churches, and know that that's a free gift. You're going to get a wristband on the way out if you want one. It says, I came to the rescue, to remind you to pray for us. How many agree with me? We have to keep America's churches thriving. Come on, do we need to fight back or not?